Hi Year 6, welcome back to lesson 6 of your English lessons. I'm Miss Fry again. Right, let's have a look at our learning journey to see where we're going today with our learning. So, last lesson, you wrote your paragraph about your insect for your non-chronological report after first of all practicing your prepositional phrases and expanded noun phrases. You put that all together as your paragraph about your insect. So we've ticked that part off on our learning journey. What we're going to do today is go back to the previous bullet point about reading and answering some comprehension questions and collecting facts today about our new creature, the spider monkey. First of all, I'm going to share a video with you just so you can see the spider monkey in action.
They don't look like a regular primate that has 4 limbs. They have an additional limb that is their tail, so they really look as like spiders when you look at them in the canopy. Spider monkeys are one of the largest primates in the Americas. They can weigh up to 10 kilos and they are quite amazing because when you look at them, and probably that's why they get their name, they look like spiders. Prehensile tail is a tail that can be used to grab from any substrate. It is like having an additional hand, literally, but only that with a single finger. In fact, they have like a bearskin pad on the underparts of the tail, but it has a very, very detailed precision in order to grab from any kind of substrate. Spider monkeys start using their prehensile tails very early. In fact, after a couple weeks old, baby spider monkeys will start to ride on their mom's back. And it's very interesting that they wrap their tails around their mom's tail, and this is like a seat belt, like a security belt that they have for hanging tight to their mothers. I think prehensile tail is a very unique adaptation because monkeys that have a prehensile tail are able to hang from their tail while they're foraging and then free their hands in order to be more efficient. They can also hang from their tails while wrestling and playing with other members of the group, but especially when they're moving along or across the canopy, they're able to secure themselves while jumping from one tree to another. So it's an additional security for them, especially being large-bodied primates that live 30 to 50 meters above the ground.
They're pretty impressive creatures, aren't they, those spider monkeys? I hope you enjoyed watching that video. Okay, so what we're going to do next is read some further information about spider monkeys, and you're going to answer some comprehension questions about them. Okay, so I'll read the text that I put on each screen, and what I would like you to do is either follow along or you can pause the screen and just read it for yourself. The spider monkey is a large, extremely agile monkey that lives in the forests from southern Mexico through Central and South America to Brazil. In spite of its thumbless hands, this lanky pot-bellied primate can move swiftly through the trees using its long, prehensile, gripping tail as a fifth limb. 7 species of true spider monkeys are classified as the genus Atlas. The woolly spider monkey, or Muriqui, which is a close relative but not a true spider monkey, is placed in the genus Brachylatellus. Spider monkeys, weigh about 6 kilograms, 13.2 pounds, and are 35 to 66 centimetres, 14 to 26 inches long, excluding the heavily furred tail, which is longer than the body. The coat, of variable length and fineness, ranges among the several species from grey to reddish, dark brown or black. Most have a black face with white eye rings, but some have a flesh-coloured face. These New World primates are social and gather in groups of 2 or 3 dozen animals. At night, these groups split up into smaller sleeping parties of half a dozen or fewer. Foraging also occurs in smaller groups and is usually most intense early in the day. Spider monkeys find food in the treetops and feast on nuts, fruits, leaves, birds' eggs, and spiders. They can be noisy animals and often communicate with many calls, screeches, barks, and other sounds. Typically, females give birth only to a single baby every 2 to 5 years. Young monkeys depend completely on their mothers for about 10 weeks, but after that time they begin to explore on their own and play amongst themselves. Mothers continue to care for their young for the first year of their lives and often move about with their offspring clinging to their backs. Indigenous people often hunt spider monkeys for food, and the animals are usually agitated by human contact. Logging and deforestation continue to shrink the space that spider monkeys are able to call home. The first thing we're going to do now in our lesson is look at some comprehension questions together, and then I'd like you to pause the video and answer them independently. After that, we'll come back together and I'll talk to you about some note-taking of some key facts from these information pages from this text. So, the first questions I'd like you to think about are linked to these 2 paragraphs here. So we've got, why do you think the monkey's tail has been described as a 5th limb? And then find and copy the words which mean the same as the following words, active and different. And then on the next page, we've got some other questions. Spider monkeys are social creatures. Find 2 pieces of evidence in the text that supports this. And then finally, question 4, at the end of the text, the author writes, Indigenous people often hunt spider monkeys for food, and the animals are usually agitated by human contact. Logging and deforestation continue to shrink the space that spider monkeys are able to call home. What does this suggest to readers about what might happen to spider monkeys and why? So you're thinking about the future, what might happen to them. So what I'd like you to do is you can flip back to the previous screen, like so, and pause it here. Reread that information, taking it in, and answer questions 1 and 2 on your lined paper, please. Then you can flip on to the next set of questions just here, and answer questions 3 and 4. Then once you've finished doing that, you can unpause the video and we'll go through the answers. Okay, off you go. Now that you've had a go at those questions independently, let's look at the answers together. So question 1, why do you think the monkey's tail has been described as a 5th limb? And you can find some information here that will help you to answer that question. So something along these lines would be a suitable answer for this question. We've got, because it says in the text that the tail is prehensile, which means gripping. This is much like a spider monkey's hand or foot on its other limbs that it can grip with. So you're linking to that word prehensile, meaning gripping, that you've got there described in brackets, and linking that to the monkey's other limbs. Okay, let's have a look at question 2. Find and copy the words which mean the same as the following words. So first of all, we had active. So we've got the word agile, and that's there in that first sentence. The spider monkey is a large, extremely agile monkey. It means it's active, it moves around a lot. Okay, and the other word that I wanted you to find and copy meant the same as was different, and that word is variable, and that's in the second paragraph here. The coat of variable length and fineness, and that means of different length and fineness depending on the species or the type of spider. Okay, let's have a look at questions 3 and 4 based on the other paragraphs. So we had, I'm blocking my view, I just need to move my face. Number 3, spider monkeys are social creatures. Find 2 pieces of evidence in the text that support this. So one could have been foraging occurs in smaller groups. Another one could be they communicate with many calls. If we look over in this first paragraph over here, it actually says they are social and gather in groups of up to 2 or 3 dozen animals. You could have used that as a piece of evidence. You could have had that they have sleeping parties of half a dozen or fewer. So there are a few examples or evidence that you could have used there to support the fact that spider monkeys are social creatures. Okay, let's now have a look at question 4. And the question says, the author writes, put that back on again, it's froze for a second. There we are. At the end of the text, the author writes, Indigenous people often hunt spider monkeys for food, and the animals are usually agitated by human contact. Logging and deforestation continue to shrink the space that spider monkeys are able to call home. What does this suggest to readers about what might happen to spider monkeys and why? So you need to read that and think about what it suggests might happen to them in the future. We've got that modal verb there, might, what might happen. So you're actually using some sort of prediction based on the evidence in your text. So I've said, and if you've got a similar sort of answer that would be suitable, it suggests spider monkeys, oh, I've got a misspelling on monkeys there, apologies. Spider monkeys do not like humans, as in the text it said they're agitated by human contact. They're agitated, annoyed. Furthermore, it suggests that the lives of spider monkeys are under threat by humans due to deforestation. So they're getting rid of the rainforest and cutting it down. Okay, well done. You can give those a tick if you've got similar answers that are suitable to answer those questions. Okay, next what we're going to do is move on to collecting some information by note-taking. So we'll pop back now to the first page of our text about spider monkeys. And the reason I'd like you to do some reading, some note-taking from this text is because your next paragraph is going to be about spider monkeys, a creature that lives in the Amazon rainforest. So we'll have our introduction, our paragraph about your insect, your Amazonian insect. Then you'll have a paragraph about the spider monkey, another creature, and then we'll come up with a concluding paragraph as well. So you'll form your whole non-chronological report. Okay, so I'm going to reread these, and then in bullet points, I'm going to record some key facts that are going to be useful to me when I come to write my own non-chronological report. So I've got the spider monkey, and I've got in brackets here the technical vocabulary of what it's called. So actually, that's what I'm going to want to write down first of all. So I'm going to jot that down as part of a bullet point. So here we go. I've jotted that down here as part of a bullet point, so I can use that in my writing. In fact, I'll be able to use those brackets in my writing as well, which is another year six skill that we need to use as well in our writing to show that we're able to. I'm then going to carry on reading my text and see what else is information that was going to be useful in my non-chronological report. So I might want to say it's large, extremely agile, it lives in South America. It's because of where I'm writing about with the Amazon rainforest. So I could say it lives in southern Mexico, Central and South America and Brazil. Okay, so I'll jot those bullet points down on my notes. Okay, so I've got my text in. I've got that it's a large, agile monkey lives in Central South America. Oh, I've got to pop in my capital letters and check my spelling there. Central South America. Really important to make sure we get our spellings right in these note-taking so that when we use our notes to write our sentences, our spelling's correct. They live in Central South America and Brazil. Okay, let's have a look at what I might want to jot down next. Okay, I'm going to want to talk about how it can move swiftly through the trees, as I'm just skimming and scanning over here, using its long prehensile tail as a fifth limb. Right, I'm going to write about the long prehensile tail as a fifth limb and then link that to moving swiftly. Okay, so I've got long prehensile tail, gripping, used as a fifth limb. Okay, so I've made a start on my notes there. What I'd like you to do is go back on the video. In fact, I can pop that on there right now. Go back onto your screen where the text is. You can pause on this first screen, and then with bullet points, I want you to read and make notes of the key information there that you can use in your non-chronological report. And then you can go on to the next screen and make some notes there as well. So pause the video now and have a go at that. Thank you. Well done, Year 6. So now that you've answered the comprehension questions and we've gone through the answers and you've made your notes, your careful notes about the spider monkeys, we're going to leave the lesson there for today, and you'll need those notes tomorrow for tomorrow's session or the next English lesson. You'll need to use them so that we can write our own paragraphs about spider monkeys, and we'll practice some of those, the starts of some of those together, and then you can have a go at writing your own. Well done for your hard work today, Year 6, and I'll look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye.